Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a knife video for you. Today I've got a pretty fun video that I think people will enjoy. I want to talk about some knives today that are just so ridiculously good that it almost seems like an unfair advantage over other companies. So I've got lots of different things represented here. So I've got a few different categories so that there's something for everybody, whatever you're looking for in terms of, fidget factor and size and cost and all of that. There should be something here that scratches that itch for you. Before we get into the list though, I do want to throw in one honorable mention, and this is actually a company. So Cevivi, this is the Cevivi 6 Gil, and it is really good. The action on this is so enjoyable. The knife is not perfect. There are a couple little things that could be better. But the reason I brought this knife in is because Cevivi has done such a great job on this crossbar lock that I think it's just a matter of time until they hit the right design that's just maybe a little plainer, a little simpler, a little more broadly appealing, and it would easily make this list as well. Now, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into our actual list, beginning with a knife that's been around for only a little while. There's going to be some classics on here. There's going to be some newcomers on here. But the first knife I want to put on this list is the Microte MSI. This is a fantastic knife. There are a bunch of different options. So whether you want to spend a little more or a little less, there's going to be something that's probably pretty comfortable for your budget. It is just a really, really well-rounded cutting tool. It feels great in hand. It's very tough. It's got decent materials. There's really not much to complain about when it comes to the MSI. Now, yes, it's going to be too big for some people, but in that case, this can be like the hard use knife in your collection. This can be the tactical knife in your collection and kind of still fill a helpful role. And also, it can be the Microte in your collection, all right? But this is just a fantastic knife. It is one of the best things that Microte has ever done in terms of a broadly appealing knife. Microte has tons of great knives that I would love to own, knives that, because I live in Canada, I'm not able to own. But this is just so good for so many people that I had to put it on this list. All right, next up is going to be something a little more budget friendly. This is the Vosted Raccoon with the top liner lock. Now, this is not the only good version of the Raccoon. I did a previous review on the Raccoon, and then I did sort of an updated video about this top liner lock version. And while I enjoy this one the best, the other versions, the button lock and the crossbar lock, are still great knives. And they're all a little small for me, but I know some of you watching, there's no accounting for taste. And so some of you watching do like smaller knives than I do. All right. I can forgive your ignorance there and say, if you like these smaller knives, this is a great option. It feels great in hand. It is so fidgety. The steel is good. The price is good. There's just nothing to hold this knife back. And one more thing, this is available in about 1 million different variations. There's different blade options. Sorry, I touched the handle. There's different blade shape options and color options. There's different handle options in terms of color and material. So whatever your style happens to be, there's almost certainly a Raccoon that's perfect for you. And so while this knife is not perfect for me because it's really too small, if this is the size that you enjoy, oh my goodness, these are so ridiculously well done. It's just, again, not fair to, if you're building a smaller, if you're looking for a smaller, easy to carry EDC knife, this is too good to be true. All right, next on the list, Cevivi does have a knife that I'm going to definitely talk about. This is the Cevivi Vision FG, and it is an absolute home run. My favorite version is the one with the Damascus. Now, I will say with this knife, if you're wise, you will take a look carefully at pictures of the actual knife you're getting. Some of the Damascus pattern is great, others not so much. Of course, if you don't like Damascus and you're just going to get a satin or black blade or something else, then just do that and you can save yourself the trouble. So that recommendation is only for those wanting the Damascus blade. This is such a fidget-friendly knife. It is so much so much fun to carry and use. As a light duty EDC, it is perfection. It is, yeah, just as perfection as the Raccoon was before it. There's just not much that I would want, except that it sounds like they might be coming out with a bigger, beefier version, which is the greatest thing imaginable. Okay, so the only one way they could make this a little bit better, it sounds like maybe they are going to make it better. So awesome knife. You can absolutely not go wrong. It's budget friendly. It's fantastic. Now let's go to the next knife on the list. This is going to be a bigger knife, but still, this is a modern classic. The 8010 from Cold Steel is your hard use, outdoor, camping, tactical perfection knife. Okay, this handle is so comfortable. It feels like it's just meant to be in your hand. Like it's like the lazy boy of knife handles. It is so comfortable. The blade is a great balance of toughness, durability, and cutting power. And Cold Steel tends to really do a good job of this. They definitely want to make a knife that's a good functional tool. Every once in a while, they make something a little off the charts in one way or another, but this is so good. And what's better is that these are not that expensive, right? In this configuration, I think these are probably around $140 US. They might be, I'm pretty sure they're even under $200 Canadian most places. They might be a little over depending on where you go. But even if between $150 and $200 is too much, they have the light version, which is still in AUS 10 steel, which is a great steel, a great budget steel, very capable knife. You lose very little in dropping down that, you know, $75 or $100 in price to get to the light. And so again, this just becomes a great option if you're normally the guy who carries something smaller and lighter. You know, maybe the Raccoon is the perfect knife for you, but from time to time you want something that's a little more of a workhorse. This is the ultimate workhorse, and it can be had for a very reasonable price point. All right, so Cold Steel 8010, so good. It's hard to imagine needing anything else. Now, I say that while owning many more knives. Okay, next up, Spyderco Manx. Now, I have two versions of the Manx. This is the Manx 2 XL. This is the Manx 2 Lockback. The only thing I don't have is sort of a plain Jane Manx 2, but I thought I'd throw these in so that they could represent the category of Spyderco Manx. There are lightweight Manxes, there are heavy-duty Manxes, there are even some different grinds available, and I think you might have a hard time finding a saber grind these days, but if you really want one and look around, I think you could probably get your hands on one. They're most commonly going to have this ball bearing lock. Obviously, this has the back lock, which is not quite so common, but these are great. They're not expensive. They're comfortable in hand. They're sort of EDC plus. You know, I would take a Manx over some of the knives on this list in terms of toughness and durability, but they're not these crazy. They're not quite to the level of the 8010 that we just had. So if you want something that's pretty balanced, pretty easy to carry, but still very capable and comfortable and affordable with good materials, the Manx is a really good option, and there's a reason why nearly everyone has one. Like, this is such a prolific knife. So Spyderco Manx. All right, the next one has been wildly popular recently for very good reason. This is the Kaiser Milit, and this has a lot of the same things that the other knives we've looked at have had. It's really well done. The action is absolutely superb on this. The access to the lock bar is perfect. The ergonomics are great. The blade steel and blade options are varied. Now, this one happens to be the peak of Kaiser finishing. This is the polished DLC finish, which is amazing. These are also done by a Canadian maker, which I happen to appreciate. You can see Styles Maker's Mark right there. But these do all the stuff that a good EDC knife should do and do it really well. Comfortable in hand, comfortable in pocket. Now, this particular version is going to be a little more costly, but it's still, you know, I think you're going to be able to get your hands on one for around $200 US. That's with, you know, sort of all the bells and whistles, the fat carbon and the high polished DLC. But there are a bunch of variations of this. So even if you stick to the tie, there are some that are closer to, you know, between $100 and $150. And then there are further variations in G10 and I believe Nitro V, but they could be something else, that are even cheaper yet, that are going to be like, I don't know, $70 or something like that. And I can't speak to the action on those, but given, you know, Kaiser's history, I strongly suspect that it's quite good. And so these are phenomenal knives. You know, the Milit is kind of everywhere lately, and there's a good reason for that. These are absolutely enjoyable. You know, a nearly perfect EDC knife. Again, so perfect that in this category, if you're looking for something like this, it's really hard to think of even anything else that's going to be on the same level. Again, this one, it really cranks that up with this absolutely gorgeous finish and that really cool fat carbon fiber. Okay, so this one, you know, it even gets that extra, you know, gets a few extra points for being as cool as it can possibly be. But even the standard Milit is phenomenal as a great user. Okay, so Kaiser Milit next on the list. Let's grab, okay, here we go. Next thing I want to share with you guys is the Teneal Cryo. So the Concept Cryo has been around for quite a long time. It's been a very popular model for them. You can get it in a number of different sort of levels, if you will. And this is like the lowest level, but this is also the only one available in a drop point with a crossbar lock. And this crossbar lock is really well done. The action is fantastic on this. It is on bearings, which is sort of either here nor there. Now that's because to me, this knife is kind of pushing toward the harder use, heavier duty kind of category. And with that, I would usually prefer not to have bearings. I'd rather have washers. Okay. But the cool thing about this is it's a very, very budget friendly knife, but it gives you this great, strong, reliable hunk of 14C28N steel, which 14C28N is by far my favorite budget steel, and configured like this with lots of material and a lot of strength going out to the tip. This is a fantastic value, hard use or hard-ish use folder. Okay, just a stellar knife. Easy to carry. It's a little heavy, but honestly, to me, I kind of think of this as like the modern Rat Model 1 replacement. So if you're looking to kind of replace a Rat Model 1, you're looking at a larger, heavier knife anyway. And this is just a home run from Teneal. And they've got a few other knives with this crossbar lock that look really, really good that I want to get my hands on. And so hold on for those coming up, but I doubt any of them are going to be quite in the same category as this. What makes this one stand out is that it's a little heftier than most of the budget knives, really most of the budget knives available, period. Okay, and so because of that, this gets the special nod on this particular list. Finally, the last knife that I'm going to bring in is going to be the Vosted SCOP. This is a great knife. It's fidgety. It's got a top liner lock, which is great. The overall look is really, really cool. Okay. It's got the Tough Knives logo right there. And so this, again, is a really, really nice design from a well-known designer. It really walks a very... it really walks a line that's hard to do in the EDC world. Knives tend to be either, sort of lighter duty EDC or heavier duty EDC, but this is kind of a light, comfortable, easy to carry folder that is actually pretty well built and can definitely do sort of EDC plus type of tasks. All right, it's got really, really well heat-treated LMAX steel, and it's got the nicest micarta essentially available on the market right now. So this is a home run, an absolute home run. I do have some other scales for this that I may switch out, but for now, I'm enjoying it so much as it is that I haven't gotten around to doing that yet. Okay, so there you go, guys. Those are the top 5 or something knives that are so good it almost seems unfair to everyone else. If you don't have these knives, I would highly recommend you try to get your hands on one, at least handle them. Most of you watching this are probably knife enthusiasts and probably have more variations of these knives than even I do. But especially for those who are new to getting into knives and you want to kind of know where to start, I think this also serves as a really good sort of jumping off point to know which knives to check out, where you likely won't be disappointed, where you'll get to enjoy the knives that you're owning before. It's going to happen to everyone eventually. You're going to buy a couple of knives that you really dislike, but these are going to be all pretty darn good and deliver not only performance, but looks and comfort and materials and all the stuff we're looking for in a really good folding knife.